Hello, my fellow Slayers. This is Maluncha, and welcome back to Dauntless. After 2 days of experimenting, testing, and trying everything out that has to do with the reforging and the reforge and the hunts, the new hunt system, I finally figured it out. It was kind of a hustle. So yeah, last episode we took an in-depth look in the Slayer's path, and holy crap, it is huge. For what I've heard so far, there are certain people, like new people, and then older people as well, like older Slayers, that can actually unlock the first milestone, but are stuck unlocking the training grounds and the first island, meaning that they basically cannot actually go on a hunt and cannot get experience to actually get on the new milestones. So far I've heard news that they are working on it, so yeah, for those who happen to be in that situation, yeah, just hang on a little bit. I guess the developers really don't like that people can't play their game, so they're probably working hard on it, or by now they actually fixed it. First off, before we actually start, in the previous episode I kind of was talking about the unlock striker empowerment and the milestones, and I was wrong a little bit about both. The milestones are unlocked with experience, as I just said. Not, I presumed that they were stuck behind quests, but that would make the game linear, and that's what they tried to fix. So yeah, it's basically everything you do in the game, every experience that you get in the game is experience that you can get for the milestone, and then you can unlock the milestones. For the rest, you already know what needs to unlock them. The islands, I think that's experience as well, and then yeah, explorer merits and rams and combat merits and such. So yeah, we talked about in depth about that the previous episode, and then I'm still not positive about this, but last episode I kind of said, like, you have these tiers here, and it says unlock sword empowerment 1. Now, the sword empowerment gives 2% weapon charge rate no matter which weapon is equipped. First off, we were thinking that it was only for the sword. So basically this means that you're gonna have 2% weapon charge rate for every weapon in the game, but it's not for every part of these. Like 1% power can work on every weapon, but then we come to stagger damage. The weapons that don't do stagger damage, for instance, I think it's the pike, the repeaters, maybe the chain blades do a little bit. I'm not really sure anymore. I hardly play the repeater, so let's just call the I hardly play the chain blade, so let's just call repeaters. Repeaters only do base damage, part damage, and base health damage. That's the only two part damages that they are only two damages types that they do. So the increase that we would get from the 3% weapon stagger damage does not implement on the repeaters. Same with the 3% wound damage that you see here. The repeaters are not gonna all of a sudden do 3% wound damage. I tested it out. As you can see, I've unlocked everything, and yeah, they're not. So just wanted to set that straight before we actually go into the episode. Now, what do we want to talk about this episode? That's actually the empowerment. So if you can see here, you have the reforge. So once you have reached the maximum level with a weapon, you can infuse that power into Aether Sparks to create an Aether Heart. Aether Hearts can be used to power surge weapons to imbue them with your own power, unlocking their full potential. So you can see here I'm level 20, and I already reforged this one twice. So I'm level 20, and I can actually, if I do this, I can reforge it a third time. Now you can see the sword is at level 10, and my strikers are at level 5. I kind of kept them there because I wanted to use them as an example. What example am I gonna use? Well, if we look at our inventory and we look at our equipment, you can see right here, Twin Suns, 120 power. So my Twin Suns are actually power surged. So you can only power surge your weapons once. You can reforge, so with this one here, you can reforge it as much as you can. The only means behind reforging is actually, if we go back to Slayer's Path, you can see here, if you look out, so unlock sword empowerment. Basically, if you reforge your weapons for the first time, you get the first tier. Now for the second tier, you need to reforge your swords 3 times. For the third tier, you need to reforge them 5 times, 7 times, and 10 times. So actually the most amount of reforges that you would need to do in the game is 10. Everything beyond that is just to show other people like, look, I've reforged my repeaters 50 times. I'm not really sure why you would want to do that, but yeah, the max amount that you actually want to reforge is 10. So you can actually unlock all of these boosts. For most that apply to all weapons, for certain are only going to apply to the weapons that do that kind of damage. So that's why the reforging is actually pretty important. So you can actually unlock the more boosts. Now, what does a reforge and an empowerment actually do? So if we go to Will's Boredom right here, you can see right here the weapons that I actually reforged or empowered, or I constantly mix them up, so I kind of want to have it straight. So if you look at this one, it says base power 80, and we can power surge it. If we go below, this one has a base power of 60, 60, 40, and even if we go lower, base power of 20. Now, as you can see here, the cell slot or the cell talent that is actually in here, or the talent that is in here, is only +1, because it's actually the lowest one. If we go up, and you can see here level 60 and then level 80 as well. They're at tier 2. So you actually need your weapons at tier 3. And tier 3 is actually the power surged weapons. As you can see, these swords I actually power surged as an example. Now the power surge is 120 base power. That's the base power any weapon you will have. Now, if we look at our gear again, yeah, it's going to be a lot of information in a really short time. So pay attention. So the base power of any weapon is 120. The base power of all your gear is gonna be 30. I think it's 10 or 20 before you power surge it. So the base power of every is 30. Meaning if you have 4 items equipped at 30, you're gonna have 120 resistance and you're gonna have 120 power. Now you might be wondering, dude, you have 540 power. That's because my repeaters are at level 20. Skill level 20 bonus. So every skill level that you go up, you actually gain 420 power. So if you go to equipment and can I change a loadout? That's at level 1. So for instance, my hammer, you can see all my gear is at level 30. So 120 resistance in total and 120 power. The skill level 1 bonus is 40 power. So that means I get 160 power and 160 resistance. If I go to skill level 2, it becomes 180. And that goes up and up and up. As you can see at level 10, that's 340, 340. If you look at my strikers here, 240, 240 at level 5. And then the max rank that you can actually get at level 20 is 540 power and 540 resistance. And that makes that all your slots and everything that you actually have equipped is actually being able to go to 6 loadouts. Yeah, that's basically how the power surging and the reforging works. So reforging, you actually only need to do 10 times to be able to get all those bonuses. Now, how do the hunts work? Because that's the second part I actually wanted to talk to you about, and it is kind of tricky. So as you can see here, Ember Cove level 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 5, and so on and so on and so on. So for my power level right now on my repeaters, Twilight Sanctuary is a normal difficulty. Hell no. Hell freaking no. It is the normal difficulty. I would say Twilight Sanctuary for level 20 is a hard. Like honestly, it's really hard. Hades Cliff 1580, as you can see here, it's easy for me right now. If I go lower, Underveiled Defile, it's too easy. So you can see the bar is actually grayed out, meaning that if I would defeat behemoths on too easy, I would not gain any experience for my weapon anymore. So if we go back to inventory, and let's say we take our level 1, just random level 1 that I have, and we go back to hunting ground, you can see here, Ember Cove as green, so they're normal difficulty. If you go to Revelations Rock, it's yellow, and then to orange, so it's going from hard to very hard to too hard, and then at the end it still says too hard. It is too hard, like trust me. I've went into Twilight Sanctuary at level 10 thinking like, Okay, I can get more XP if I defeat higher tiered behemoths, but it's not worth it at all. Now, how does the the XP actually work behind the weapon experience that you can get? So defeating every behemoth will give you experience. Now, if you defeat a behemoth of the same tier that you are at, so if I would take my swords out and I would go to, let's say, for instance, Thunderwatch, and I would slay a Naizaga. Naizaga, I think, is a level 8 or a level 9. Well, let's say Naizaga is level 10, and I'm a level 10 as well. You get 100 experience. If you go a tier below that, so if I would defeat a level 9 behemoth while I was level 10, you would get, what was again, 95 experience. And it goes like 5 tiers below that and 5 tiers above that, meaning that the highest damage, highest experience you can get is 175 experience per kill. The lowest amount of experience that you can kill is 75 experience per kill. Now, you might be saying like, oh, okay, so if I'm level 10, I just go to like Snowblind Waste and I just kill tier 15 behemoths. No, just don't do it. I've tested it out. By the time you've killed one level 15 behemoth, you can kill 3 level 10 behemoths. And even, well, let's say 2 level 10 behemoths and say 3 level 8 behemoths. Meaning if you do 3 times the 90 XP that you get, that's 270 experience. If you do 1 of level 15, so 5 levels higher, that's 175. You see where I'm going at, right? So try to stick like maybe 1 level above your level when you actually are farming, and even staying your level and maybe even below. I can honestly say from level 16 onwards, I stayed on Hades Reach. I went into Twilight Sanctuary and it took me so long to defeat 1 behemoth that I could actually defeat 2 or 3 behemoths at Hades Reach. Meaning that, yeah, like I said, I would get, let's say, 3 behemoths of 80, that would be 240 XP that I would get, while I would only get 115 XP from the level, well, let's say level 17. Well, 17 would be 130 experience. So don't go too high in the tiers, guys. It's really, really not worth it. You're gonna have a horrible time. They basically one-shot you. As you can see here, the island event behind Twilight Sanctuary island event, sudden death. A large quantity of Aether can turn into any behemoth into a formable force. Every behemoth attack is fatal. Like, every hit is fatal. Like, it's a horde of Stormclaws. It's just horrible. Even now at level 20... of level 19, I just stuck with Hades Reach. It was, you could defeat behemoths in 1 minute, so it's pretty easy to farm out the behemoths. Like every minute 80 experience instead of 5 minutes for 120 experience. That's a really good means to actually upgrade. How can you actually see why when your island is getting too low? There's 2 means. Basically, you can, like I just explained, you can see like if a behemoth of your level or a level below it is giving you below 100 XP, maybe it's time to move to another island. Move to an island where you can get 115, 130 XP. But you do need to make sure that your kill time stays on point. If your kill time just goes too high, go back to a lower. I was able to farm out level 20 in 6 hours doing this. And the first time I tested it, I basically went up with, like, the second time I leveled up, this time I leveled up, I stuck 2 levels below my level, constantly, and it took me 6 hours. The first time I did, I stuck 2 levels above my level, it took me 10 hours. So it's 4 hours difference in trying to just farm out behemoths at a higher tier. So I don't think it's really worth it. The second means is actually by killing critters, as I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, I've killed 2 different critters here. The first critter was actually when my power level was getting too high for the zone or the island I was playing in, meaning that the critters would only give me 4 experience, while a critter that is at the level cap you are at is always gonna give 5 experience. So this is also a good means to actually show you, like, okay, there's a lot of behemoths that spawn critters in, so you're gonna face them a lot. There's random critters spawning all over the place, so you're gonna face them a lot. And every time you see, like, okay, a critter is only giving me 3 experience or 4 experience, just go up 1 island. And if the critters there give you 5 experience, you're basically at the right island to farm. And that's basically how the hunts now a little bit work. So we're gonna go into a hunting ground, because the hunting grounds changed as well. And we are going to take equipment. Well, we're gonna take our repeaters, and that means that I can reforge for the 3rd time, meaning that I can unlock the 3rd bonus of my repeater. So let's get into this station, repeaters, and reforge your repeater skill. You basically get an animation here where the guy is lifting off the ground. You can see here as well. And bam! Now you can see here at the bottom, repeater skill reforged. I created 1 Aether Heart. So the Aether Hearts again are used to get the max cap of the power level of your weapons and your armor. And then at the bottom here, Slayer Path node is ready to unlock. So I've did the 3rd one. So now reforge repeaters skills 3 times, 1% movement speed no matter which weapon is equipped. It doesn't cost anything else, like it doesn't cost exploration or combat merits, it just needs to be reforged. So that's pretty easy. Bam! Now I have 3% movement speed on every other weapon. How can you get experience except for defeating behemoths? That's by doing bounties. And bounties is actually a really good means to get experience. As you can see here, a bronze one is granting you 200 weapon skill experience. A silver one is 400 weapon skill experience. And then the gold one's 1000 weapon skill experience. Yeah. Now you might be wondering, what are actually the level caps? Well, level cap 1 is 350. Level cap 2 is 500. 3 700, 4 900, 5 1050, 6 1200, 7 1300, then 1380, 50 for 8, 9 is 1500, 10 is 1600, 11 is 1650, 12 is 1750, 13 is 1800, 14 is 1900, 15 is 1950, 16 is 1975, 17 is 2050, 18 is 2100, and 19 is 2150. Those are all the XP gaps behind the level. So if you get like a gold one, you can go from tier 1 to tier 3 instantly. Like 350, 500 and 700 experience, you can instantly get to that tier. So yeah, I've been using, I had like, I think it was 15 I had from the previous patch, and I bought like 30 more in the store. And as you can see here, I think this is the fastest hunt pass that I ever did. 2 days. In 2 days, I maxed out my hunt pass just from doing like I said, like a lot of hunts, a lot of behemoth slaying, and doing a lot of bounties. And the bounties help a lot, like a lot with actually. If you know that a behemoth round, well, on your level gives 100 experience, and these give 200, 500, and 1000 experience, meaning if you can get a gold bounty completed, you basically defeated 10 behemoths of your level. That's a huge increase. Yeah, that's a little bit about what all I wanted to talk to you guys about, and all the important stuff that comes with hunts and the different experience that you can get, and the reforging, and well, I keep calling it masterworking. Holy crap, the reforging and what was it? The power surging. Yeah, power surging, that was it. So I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave the actual look into the hunts for later on, because yeah, this episode alone might just take way too long if I go into hunts. I kind of want to go a look around all the islands, because the islands changed so much, and the way you actually hunt has changed as well. So I'm gonna leave it for now and for here, guys. If you want to see more of my, well, it's not really quest progression today, it's more of a how-to. So usually I get into an episode, I'm like, okay, let's try to figure this out. And I actually started this episode like that. But after like an hour of recording, I was like, how the hell does this actually work? And I was like, okay, I need to figure this out before I make this episode, because there is too much information, and the episode would have lasted an hour or an hour and a half, just me trying to explain it or trying to figure it out. So now I could bring a little shorter episode on how actually to reforge the Powersurge and where all the experience lies, and how you can actually get the experience in a shorter episode. Anyway guys, like I said, if you want to see more of my quest progression or my let's play here in Dauntless, just hit that subscribe button. It would always help out a lot. I do hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.